Brought to you by Moonbeam Multimedia.
This is 16 to 1, a podcast about education, teaching, and learning.
Hello.
I'm so excited for this episode.
Me too. It's different.
Yeah, we decided to break with tradition, even though we're keeping part of the tradition of doing a year in review episode, which is what we're about to bring you. But we both wanted to do something different from our usual fare. So we turned this into a creative writing project, sort of, that we collaborated on. So anyway, we're about to say goodbye to you for a while. We're going to take a summer break. We'll be back at some point in the fall. We haven't determined our production schedule just yet for this upcoming year, but we'll be back. Before we go, this is our year in review episode. This is a fictional account of a fictional school, and any resemblance to real persons or places is coincidental. The high school hallways are abuzz with the activities of departure. Students peel back crusty layers of homework from the bottoms of their lockers. Janitors roam the building, carefully erasing messes left behind, polishing floors and washing whiteboards. In breaks between recording final grades and student accomplishments for the year, teachers pack up boxes of belongings meant to inspire, to instruct, to create comfort and connection. Graduation hangs in the air, the bittersweet tang of transition and goodbyes commingling with growth and anticipation. In what the staff members refer to as the new wing of the school building, which by now is definitely decades and decades old, a student lurks at the door to an English classroom. He listens for a lull in the conversation within and then yanks hard on the doorknob. Locked. He knocks. A few seconds later, he's greeted by Mrs. Bauer, a special education teacher, who opens the door for him to reveal a dimly lit classroom in end-of-year disarray. Chairs stacked on desks, posters removed from the walls in anticipation of fresh paint. At her desk, Miss Christopher, the English teacher, arranges photos in the school's yearbook design software.
Hey, Glenn, says Mrs. Bauer. What are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to be somewhere right now? Glenn is indeed supposed to be somewhere else at this moment. He is skipping out on the final moments of practice for graduation, a fact that will come back to haunt him a short while later when he makes a wrong turn coming off the stage after snapping an exuberant selfie with the crowd, diploma in hand. Oh, you're both here. Hey, are my grades done yet? Do you know what I got on my final? Hey, Glenn, replies Miss Christopher. Nice to see you too. Grades aren't technically due until next week, buddy. You gonna get them in on time? If it makes it easier, you could just give me an A. He waits for a reaction. Receiving none, he adjusts course and starts to dig through the backpack he's carrying. He emerges holding a tablet with the school's logo emblazoned on the case. Got the final post for the last news episode on here. I wasn't sure if you wanted to use the cell phone ban story or not, but it's in there too. Glenn, a familiar face on the school's district social media feeds, has been an editor for the school news. He dreams of going into sports journalism. He props up the tablet on Miss Christopher's desk and taps play on a video clip of two freshman students taking turns responding as Glenn peppers him with questions.
Glenn, how did you feel about the cell phone ban that went into effect this year? Student 1. I mean, I thought it was kind of pointless. Some teachers let us have our phones sometimes and others didn't, and if kids want to be on their phones badly enough, they just go to the bathroom. Student 2. I agree. I have friends who go to other schools around here that didn't really ban them, even though they were supposed to. They get more freedom than we do. Glenn. That's right, folks. She's referring to a new state law that kicked in this year banning cell phones during instructional time, with exceptions for educational or medical reasons. Student 1. And there's so much stuff we have to do on our phones for school. That's how I turn in assignments and check grades and know when my practices and games are. Student 2. Plus, my parents don't like that they can't contact me if there's an emergency. Last semester, my dad had to go to the hospital, and I didn't know what was going on for the whole day. It was really scary. Glenn, do you feel like the ban has cut down on bullying at all? Students 1 and 2 together. No. Student 1, definitely not.
Glenn snaps shut the case of the tablet while the video clip is still playing. Miss Christopher and Mrs. Bauer exchange wary looks, wondering if the clip's critique of the new policy might draw unwanted official scrutiny. Their silence is broken by a student appearing at the door that Glenn left ajar. "Hi, come on in, Jasmine," says Miss Christopher. Jasmine is a busy, bubbly, and eccentric graduating senior, and she isn't entirely sure how she feels about Glenn, whose confidence comes naturally, where Jasmine's is maintained with some degree of effort. She takes a quick detour on her way into the room to fish a favorite item from a large basket of fidget toys stowed on a low shelf. Jasmine is here to turn in late work for partial credit. Given her habits of occasional tardiness and late work, the co-teachers are eager to accept Jasmine's belated initiative. Mrs. Bauer asks, "You gonna take those fidgets home with you, Jasmine?" Jasmine is the person who stocked the classroom fidget bin with technicolored squishies, spinners, jelly tubes, and pop mats. Jasmine answers, "Are you sure you don't want me to leave them for your students next year? They really help me pay attention during class. Something about them is calming, and they're so cute." "I think they're a little gross," says Glenn, as he presses his thumb into a slightly discolored pink cube. Jasmine gives him a frown. She snatches up the cube, tosses it into the basket, and scoops the whole batch of toys into her arms. "Well then, they're not for you," says Jasmine. "I guess I'll take them home, Mrs. Bauer." "I gotta get back to graduation. My people miss me," says Glenn with a grin. "I'm surprised nobody had come looking for you yet," says Miss Christopher, and she means it. Glenn is well liked by students and staff, an outgoing character who on most school days could be found wandering the halls, doling out fist bumps, and looking for the next exciting story to capture for his media class. Jasmine, looking mildly deflated by the crumbs of attention being tossed in Glenn's direction, hugs the basket of fidgets close to her chest and turns to leave the room.
"Hey, Jasmine, before you go, do you have anything for me?" Miss Christopher delivers the gentle reminder. "Oh, right." Jasmine puts the basket on the ground and rummages through her large tote bag, which is covered with pins and patches from her favorite bands and recent college visits. She extracts a slightly battered folio of work, a creative writing assignment, to pen the first chapter of a book that Jasmine might want to write someday in the future. She holds it out proudly for her teacher's review. Miss Christopher accepts this artifact as proudly as Jasmine delivers it to her. It feels to the veteran educator as though every year brings more Jasmines, more students in need of teachers who can be more than teachers, of classrooms that can provide psychological safety alongside keen instruction. This year has been one of battling truancy and a court system too overtaxed to apply consequences, of behavioral problems, of teenagers hurling slurs at a rate that neither teachers nor administrators can understand. But it's also been a year of teachers working together to invent new ways to keep students engaged and to bring them once-in-a-lifetime educational opportunities, of students choosing to be more explicit about cultivating community and camaraderie at school, a year of treating the work of learning as a good in itself and not as a commodity. "Thanks for getting this to me, Jasmine. I'm eager to read it." Jasmine smiles as Miss Christopher adds the assignment to the top of a pile on her desk. Moments later, Jasmine takes an emotional U-turn. Tears well in her eyes and her cheeks redden. Can I have a hug goodbye, Miss Christopher?" "I never say goodbyes until after the commencement ceremony, Jasmine. Find me then for a goodbye, okay?" Jasmine agrees. "Okay, I guess I'll see you at graduation then." "I'll see you at graduation," says Miss Christopher.
"Want to walk back to the gym with me, Jasmine?" Glenn mumbles as he pokes at Jasmine's elbow. "Sure," squeaks Jasmine. The students gather their belongings and turn to leave, casting glances back at the co-teachers as they head out the door. Glenn leans back across the threshold for a final query. "Can I get a selfie with y'all at graduation?" "Sure, Glenn," says Bauer. Glenn smiles and takes off after Jasmine. After the students are out of earshot, Bauer asks, "Which one of us is going to cry first at graduation this year?" "Me, but I don't want to talk about it, or I'll start crying right now. How many more final projects do we have to grade?" "Half of 7th period and a handful from 9th, says Bauer, taking the hint. "What did Jasmine end up writing about?" "Let's look," answers Christopher, picking up the folio and flipping through a few pages. Looks like she's recounting the final play of her last high school softball game. Miss Christopher had once been a coach and still maintains a protective eye over the girls who play on the school team. "Oh, that's neat. I think we should keep that assignment for next year. The kids seem to do really well with it," says Mrs. Bauer. "I agree," says Christopher, returning to the yearbook spreads and the hundreds and hundreds of smiling and serious and silly and hopeful faces staring back at her. Recording a history of each student who passes through the high school is a part of the job that Miss Christopher takes quite seriously. "Hey, why'd you lie to them? Bauer asks, staring at the bit of floor the students had just occupied. Not taking the hint, then. Lie to them about what? Christopher asks, hoping Bauer is referring to some different fib. About graduation. You never stick around to say goodbye after to the kids. Bauer stares impatiently, but kindly. I'm not good at goodbyes, I think. I also always hope it's not goodbye, you know? I always hope it's not really an ending. I get that, says Bauer. She allows the recognition to hang in the air for a moment before returning to the stack of essays. Midwest polite, were nothing if not emotionally unavailable. Christopher laughs. Are you at a stopping point? I want to go clean up after rehearsal. I can be, she says, dropping the essay she just picked up. Let's do it. The two teachers stand and head for the gym, clearing away remnants of the semester as they go. As Miss Christopher clicks off the lights and locks the door, the room falls into shadow, leaving only the soft glow of 100 smiling faces staring back from her computer screen.
I'm feeling some feels.
I think some of my now graduated students listen to the podcast. They've found it. And I think some of them are going to see themselves in these people. And I think you did a great job of capturing that.
You are the beating heart of inspiration for this story. So
Yeah.
thanks for working on this weird little project with me. I think this is a fun end of year review episode.
It was fun. And I hope that all of them can see a little bit of themselves in these people, you know?
Yeah.
It's not just one of them. It's a bunch of them, and all of them really in some ways. So until next school year.
Until next year. Thanks for listening.
We will see you then.
Bye.
Hello, listeners, and thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of 16 to 1. This show is produced by a two-woman team. Your co-hosts Katie Day, our lead researcher and social media manager, and Chelsea Adams, that's me. I edit and produce the show, and I also make the music you hear in our episodes. Visit our website at 16to1.com for show notes and resources, or to get in touch with us. 16 to 1 is sponsored by Moonbeam Multimedia, a firm that partners with civic innovators, educators, and mission-driven organizations to help create stronger communities.
This wouldn't be complete without the cat caterwauling.
No, it wouldn't.
Year in review. Watson screaming.